Hello, 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 Atlanta Falcon fans. How is everyone doing out there in the Falconverse? It is T Will and my guy, Scott Carisick, Falcon fan extraordinaire and overall genius. How you doing, Scott?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Hey man, all is well. I got no complaints, brother. All is well. Happy to be here, man. Happy to talk some Falcons with you. How's your week been thus far, Scott?
It's been pretty good. How about you?
Hey man, pretty good. You know, the schedule dropped this week, so all of our Falcon brethren and sistren are talking about that. They're all excited, as am I, to be quite candid with you. I can't wait to get into this schedule. I can't wait to get into the schedule predictions, and you and I have some predictions today that we're going to get into. So I'm just excited about
Absolutely.
it, man. Let me ask you this. What was your first impression or your first thought when you saw the Falcon schedule yesterday?
Um, as far as schedule is concerned, I look at a couple things. Primarily, when's the bye week? Is it early? Is it late? Who do they have after it? You know, so I actually like the way the Falcons got their bye week where Buffalo was after it.
Yeah,
I just hate that it's a Monday night game after a bye week against Buffalo. That just feels really weird. Also, it's a really early bye week. It's a marathon to the end of the year. So getting that first round bye is going to be crucial, which I don't think that's going to happen.
yeah,
So, you know, it could be a situation where the Falcons either don't have a bye week until the game before the Super Bowl, which let's be honest here, or until the Super Bowl, which let's be honest here, I don't see this team going to the Super Bowl, or they play straight through to the end of the year, whenever that is, whether that's first round, second round playoffs, whether that's they don't make it. Again, not saying that's going to happen because I think this is a really good team we have this year, but it's always possible, right?
it is possible. And to play devil's advocate to what you're saying, just because I like to do that, Scott, hey, the last time we played the Tampa Bay Bucks as the first game of the year, we went to the Super Bowl that year. And you know
Yep.
what, Scott? As luck would have it, we played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers first this year. You know what I
If
mean?
if only it were that simple.
Hey man, I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying.
I tell you what else, Scott. This is the second year of our offensive genius, right? And you know what happened with the second year of Mike Shanahan? Now, in no way
We
am I saying,
already had an established franchise quarterback for 6 years by that point. This is our franchise quarterback's fourth game.
details,
So
details.
just to be more honest here, like don't get me wrong, I love Michael Penix. I think he's going to do a great job in the league long term. But expecting a second year quarterback to lead your team to a Super Bowl, unless that dude is just going off, is unrealistic.
It's
We're
crazy.
basically saying he's the next Patrick Mahomes if he does that. Now, that being said, if he does somehow do that, he will be a legend for the rest of his life. He will be an instant Hall of Famer in every Atlanta fan's book. And we'll say we have the second best quarterback in the league, period, if that happens. Because honestly, that's where all of our brains are going to go.
Agreed, man. Agreed. 100%. I love it. We got Monte Carlo in the chat. Fellas, what's good? What's good, Carlo? So, man, let's get into it. I'm sure you saw the Falcons cart video
It
yesterday.
was so good.
It was great. It was great. You know what? I think the Falcons and the Chargers are kind of neck and neck where that's concerned. They both do a really good job of those schedule releases.
I, I
I tell
didn't
you what,
like the TikTok thing last year, but I loved this year. This year is the best one since they did the Game of Thrones one a few years
yeah,
back.
yeah, I really like this year. I tell you what else. I tell you what was funny. So all things being New England Patriots, we will forever be rivals. They will forever be the Beelzebub to us. So, of course, Belichick and his lady friend stepped out the other day with a Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl championship T-shirt, which sparked the ire of a lot of Atlanta Falcon fans. Let's be real. And you know what? You know what? What I loved about it, Scott, is the Falcons are not above being petty. I love it. I love that about this group. They are not above the petty. And so yesterday they released on the video, right? Uh, it basically says, and this is an article by Lauren Campbell of Yahoo Sports. So when the Falcons released their 2025 schedule on Wednesday night, they didn't pass up an opportunity to take their own shot at Hudson and her boyfriend. Roughly a minute into the Mario Kart King video, the couple portrayed as an animation was shown with a sign that read, "We're not talking about this," which stems from Belichick's CBS Mornings, in which Hudson shut down a question about how the two met by sternly saying, "We're not talking about this." Now, I don't wish to speculate, but we all know what that's about, do we not?
I'm just going to say that there is a pervasive thought about Jordan Hudson, that she might have been I'll just use a term that my grandmother would have used. She was a lady of the evening.
A lady of the evening, the oldest profession in the world. So to our fans out there watching the chat, think Pretty Woman, but Bill Belichick and the Patriots.
That's the rumor.
That's the rumor.
I have no confirmation. I don't care for confirmation. I really don't care about Belichick or Hudson or any of these people. I think they're just not worth our time. I'm just glad the Falcons dodged the bullet here.
Absolutely.
And I kept
100% agreed. I could not agree with you more, Scott.
And people kept saying, "Oh, Belichick should be the coach. Belichick should be the coach." I felt like I was the one person for a lot of this time going, "No, he should not." The game.
You were not, Scott. I was right with you. I was right with you, Scott. I was right for a couple of reasons.
And it would mean Fontenot gets fired. And I think Fontenot is building something and finally has enough power to do what he wants with this roster. And his last two drafts have been spectacular. I think his last two offseasons have been great.
They've been great, but I'm going to tell you something else. Bill Belichick does not connect with his players. He does not. No. He does not. And if you're going to coach young players, you've got to be able to connect with them. Bill Belichick is my way or the highway. My way or the highway. And you know what? When Tom Brady left, he ran that franchise into the ground. Into the ground.
Where Raheem Morris, on the flip side, is the ultimate player's coach, but unlike a Dan Quinn, he does hold his guys accountable.
Yes.
There's a difference between being a player's coach who doesn't hold anybody accountable, like what Dan Quinn was doing, and a player's coach who holds people accountable and says, "Hey, you screwed this up. How are we going to fix it?"
Right.
And right. That's what I would be like. If I was a coach, I would be closer to that than anything else.
Yeah.
Okay. We screwed this up.
Yeah.
We've got to improve.
Yep.
How do we improve? Let's figure this out.
Yes. And you can't be this draconian dictator that's like, it's my way or the highway. You can't, you know what I mean? You're not my real dad, Bill.
Conditioning drills, man. That's what the drill sergeant comes out. Conditioning is when it comes out. Like, Prince, motherfucker. Like, that's where that comes out. Outside of that, everything else is teaching, right? As a coach, you're a teacher. You're not a You're not a dictator. You're a teacher. You're a student.
You're not their dad. These are grown men. No. Right? You're not their dad. So no. I mean that's all I'm saying. Carlos says, "Alexa, play T.I.'s It Ain't Tricking If You Got It." I love it, Carlo. DSGB says, "What's good, T. Will and Scott?" TB, how you doing?
I was half hoping your Alexa would have played that song in the background.
That would have been hilarious. Carlos says he would have ruined us. Plus, we can't go have Stockholm syndrome with the same guy who's orchestrated our. That's
Carlo,
true.
Carlo gets it too.
That's
Like,
true. That's true.
oh man.
You didn't lose 28-3. You didn't lose 28-3.
No,
It's
we
a
did. And then we go 4-12 for 5 straight years. Like, nah, fuck that shit.
no, right, right.
I wanted nothing to do with Belichick.
No. I look. I was in. I'm so glad we did not hire Belichick.
He
And
got lucky with a lottery pick back in 2000 when he drafted Tom Brady, and ever since he's been trash.
well, I mean, look, the guy
Ever
can.
since Brady left.
I'll give you that. The guy can coach defense, but he no longer fits today's NFL profile. You have to be able, as a coach, if you can't connect to your players, you're not relevant. They're not going to follow you.
And the book his dad wrote about scouting methods is great for on-field stuff, but he is the driest thing ever. And if that's a peek into the mind of Bill Belichick, dude does not have it anymore. The game is not that like dry and boring and on like the book read very autistic.
Yeah.
Like no feelings whatsoever. Like robotic. Just like that doesn't work in today's NFL. Robotic coaching doesn't work.
Speaking of autistic, have you seen The Accountant 2, the movie?
No, I've seen The Accountant 1. Again, I don't go to movies in theaters.
That's right. You told me that. You did. Okay.
And I'm sure The Accountant 2 is fantastic. The first one was way better than I thought it was going to be.
It was good. It was so good. It was so good.
I had no idea what it was about. So I watched it and I was like, oh, dang, this is actually really good. And then my wife was like, all right, I got another movie for you, The Gorge, which The Gorge is good, but she was like, it's like nothing I've ever seen before. But the entire time I'm like, this is a zombie video game. Like, it's like the storyline, like think BioShock, right? But with like a love story intertwined in there. And you're like, I mean, it's a good movie that's actually catching my attention and it's worth it. Like, it was a good movie.
I'm not a fan of dystopian films. You know what I mean? Like,
it wasn't dystopian is the one way I'll put it. It was more like this is a covert CIA film.
Okay, but there's hope. Is what
there's absolutely hope the entire time.
Okay,
it's not dystopian.
All right, that's cool.
It's more like pre-apocalyptic.
You see, you couldn't let me have it. All right, so
it's worth watching. I'll give you that.
I got you. No worries. All right, my friend. Let's get into this schedule. As I'm excited about it, I know you are. Week 1, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the NFC South champions last year, and basically, excuse me for saying this, our bitches, because we beat them twice. Scott, how are you feeling about this matchup week 1, man? Talk to me.
So, I'm going to put this out there. The Falcons are not beating the Buccaneers twice this year.
Okay.
However, I do think they win this matchup.
Okay.
You know, it's at home. It's in Atlanta. This defense is going to want to start putting its face and name to everything and putting its impression on the fans. And what better way to do it than against the Buccaneers by not allowing anything crazy? So I think that is the biggest game of the year, is get that first impression and knock it out of the way.
Okay. That's fair. Week 2, we go to Minnesota. Now, last year, we hung in there until about the fourth quarter, or maybe midway through the third. It was 21-21, and then they were off to the races. And that was with a very weakened Kirk Cousins and a defense run by Jimmy Lake that, shall we say, left a lot to be desired. I, for one, think that the Falcons will go into Minnesota and open up a can, but that's just me. Give me your thoughts on this matchup.
So that's a game that I think Atlanta can win. I'm not going to guarantee any win there, but if I'm picking games that are, I think that could be a game that they win because they're going against JJ McCarthy, who has yet to play a snap in the NFL, who I was not a fan of his film. I didn't think he was any good as a prospect. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to be a massively tough matchup last year. I think they could have won the game last year. I know that sounds crazy to some, but it was 21-21 at halftime. The blowout happened at the end.
Yep.
So I think this year they stand a much better shot, especially earlier in the year. Not as many injuries at that point. Kirk's arm isn't dead. Plus, Kirk's not even starting anymore. I think Penix would have won that game.
So do I.
So
Agree.
very different situation there. So from my perspective, I would put that as a win. I think they do win. I think it's a good fit for them. And I think that's really just what happens.
Awesome. Then week 3, we go to Carolina. Now, last time we saw them, it was a showdown. We came out on the shorter end of it because, quite candidly, we don't know how to do coin flips, Scott.
I know.
But I think, in my humble opinion, we get it done this week. We go into Carolina. We beat them. Matter of fact, I'm going to say we sweep Carolina next year. Give me your thoughts on this matchup.
I think in Carolina, I think we beat Carolina. I think that's going to be a tougher game than people are expecting.
I agree.
But I still see like a 31-24 kind of game.
Okay.
Because I think we can score against them. I think adding Walker and Pierce and bringing back, Trice getting back from injury and adding in Floyd and adding in the corners and the safeties that we did. And Divine Diablo and a lot of these guys. I think that's going to be a very big difference in this year's game. Because we had Troy Anderson in the first one against them. We didn't have him in the second one. Divine Diablo and Troy Anderson are very much the same kind of guy. And if you get a total of 18 games out of those guys all year combined, you're going to be fine, especially as long as they don't overlap as the same game, right? So I think those two guys are going to be that will that we need in this scheme. So I do think Carolina should be a win.
All right. Mama, there goes that man again. It's that dude that we lost to. You guessed it. The much talked about, the heralded timeout game. But this time they come to our stadium and we pull out the victory against Dan Quinn. Those are my thoughts. You say no, sir.
It's going to be a one-score game, just like last time. It's going to be a close game, just like last time. I think Washington comes in and wins. Okay. And I don't think it's because of anything other than, they're still a slightly better team. Like, I'm talking like 28-24, kind of they win. Like last second touchdown on their end kind of win. So that's the first loss of the season in my view.
All right. I'm channeling my inner Eric Parker right now, and I'm going to say we're 4-0. And then we go to the bye week where myself and Scott have beers. Wait, Scott, do you drink?
I drink. I don't drink beer.
Okay. Well, myself and Scott have alcoholic beverages. I have wine because after the 2 heart attacks, that's all I can have. But wine it is. Scott's going to have his
heart attacks.
Yeah, long story, bro. I had two minor heart attacks last year. But
okay.
I'm doing okay. But we enjoy the bye with good food, alcoholic beverages, and great stories about our Falcons. And then we go into week 6 and we play Buffalo. And Falcon fans, I'm sorry, but I have this as a loss. Much as I want us to win, I have this one as a loss. What say you, Scott? What you got?
I'm excited. This is where I have the upset going.
Damn.
Falcons have 2 weeks to prepare for Buffalo. They should be fully healthy again after a pretty rough first 4 weeks. 2 weeks to prepare for Buffalo. I think the defense contains the running game in this game, forcing Josh Allen to throw a lot. And I don't know. I think this is where, maybe we sack Josh Allen twice, but we have him running around. That O-line in Buffalo is slow. We have nothing but speed up front. It is a good matchup for the Falcons. And then on defense, I don't think Buffalo's defense is that great. Their line has a lot of just new players, new fits that don't really fit, right?
Okay.
Outside of Ed Oliver, also, they've got a couple guys that are going to be hurt, or not hurt, but suspended on that line for like 6 games.
Okay.
So that's one of the 6 games. So I think Buffalo's a game that we shock people. There's always one game that we shock people. And I think Buffalo's going to be that one game where we shock the world and win.
Falcons shock the world. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. One Mr. Scott Carissa. Falcons shock the world week 6. What's the final score, Scott?
That one, again, I'm predicting a close game, like I always do with that kind of team. Like a 35, because I don't think that defense is that great, to like 29 kind of game.
Okay.
They hit a late in the game hit a 2-point conversion kind of thing.
Okay. Fair enough. That next week we go out to San Francisco. I left my heart in San Francisco. I'm going to say that's a win. At least it looks that way to me. Give me your thoughts on this matchup and who wins it, Scott.
San Francisco is great with their coaching.
Yes.
San Francisco has always been a tough matchup for Atlanta.
Yes.
Atlanta always has a hard time going out to San Francisco.
Yes.
I have it down as a loss.
Okay. That's fair.
I just think flying cross country on a short week in San Francisco, there's just too much going against the Falcons in that game. Unless like Purdy gets hit by a truck or something.
Damn.
I don't see Atlanta winning that one. I see it being a lot closer than people expect. Like I don't see it being like a 35-0 blowout or anything. I see it like a 24-21 kind of game where both teams just kind of grind on each other for the whole game. But I just don't see that as a win. You get where I'm coming from?
I do. No. It's always tough. It's always tough for Atlanta going out to the West Coast. And we just don't play well in San Francisco.
And if you remember the old NFC West, you're just like, ugh.
Yeah.
That's going to San Francisco always brings back memories of that.
Yeah. Merton Hanks, Ronnie
I'm thinking more Garrison Hurst.
Oh, dude, you remember that Garrison Hurst injury? Do you remember that? Because you cannot find you and
it's not on. They deleted all footage of it.
You can't find it. But I'm gonna tell you something. That was the most gruesome injury I've ever seen in my life. To those of you Falcon fans who are out there, if you missed it, thank God you did. Because essentially this was in the old Georgia Dome. This is the 98 playoffs. The Falcons went to the Super Bowl. We beat San Francisco. I think it was the first series?
So yeah, it was like the first or second series of that game. Hurst got hurt.
Yeah, early in the game, Garrison Hurst goes to plant. And on that old turf, every now and then your cleats would get stuck. And his cleats got stuck and the rest of his leg didn't. And he makes a move, and his leg snaps around like a whippoorwill.
That turf ended his and Jamal Anderson's career.
Yeah, wait. But that was in Minnesota. Wait, did we play Minnesota here? He got hurt against Jamal Anderson. Got hurt against Minnesota, right?
It was in. We had the same turf as Minnesota, so it didn't really matter.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's the same turf company and everything. The Georgia Dome field turf hadn't been invented yet.
Yeah.
Those two guys' career was ended because of AstroTurf.
100%. 100%.
They both would have had 10-year ridiculous careers.
Yeah.
God. Yeah. Especially Jamal, man. Jamal was so good. He probably have a lot more CTE right now too, but still.
Probably. Jamal was that dude, man.
He really was.
I met him, right? And so here's the thing. I met him at, was it Circuit City? I think it was Best Buy in Gwinnett. Jamal Anderson is like 5'5", if that. But he was this wide. I know you can't see, but if you take me and take you and put us together, that's how wide he was. That's how big his chest was. When he shook my hand, he basically shook my arm because his hands were like that big. They were huge, right? So he was a Hulk basically. Let me tell you something. If we're playing football and I hit Jamal Anderson, all of this is
You're
coming out.
flying. Yeah.
All of this is coming out. You know what I mean? If I can't get him by his ankles, that is what Deion Sanders would refer to as a business decision. No, I'm sorry. Because you hit him one time, you're out.
I was dislocated my shoulder in a game. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We played Roswell and it wasn't fun.
Yeah. That was huge, man. He was huge.
Yeah.
All right, so we come home against the Dolphins. I've got this as a victory. Give me your thoughts.
I think that's a win. I think we match up really well with the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins have no O-line or no D-line. And I think we just plow them into the mud just the entire game. Just run it with Bijan, run it with Tyler, just plow over them, run for 250 yards, maybe win like 24-17, 24-10 kind of game because it's just going to be a grinder. But just send them to the meat grinder and use it as a week to heal up a bit.
I love it. Then we go to New England. I think that's a win. I mean, there'll probably be some surprises here and there, but I think the Falcons will handle the pace in their house.
They got some good pieces, but first year of a head coach who's running a Belichick style everything. The first year for Vrabel when he was with the Titans wasn't that great.
Yeah.
He does have a second year, he's got a really good quarterback, big fan of Drake May. Second year for Drake May. Maybe May has a good day, but I just don't think that Josh McDaniels and Drake May are the perfect fit. So I think the Falcons end up winning that one.
Agreed. All right. So now we go to Germany, week 10. It's our beloved Atlanta Falcons against the beloved Colts of Indianapolis. And I think we win this. I think that we win this by 2 scores. I don't think it'll be that challenging. I think the challenge is going to be the very next week when we come home and play the Panthers. Now, I originally said that we were going to sweep them, but that was before I realized that we were playing them week 11. I have this as a loss just because of the travel and the time differential. You and I were talking about this before we went on camera. You disagree.
I disagree.
Be fine. And you have some experience with this, so I know you've traveled abroad. Give us an example that would really give us like an example of a place that if the Falcons flew, you would really have some concerns because obviously them flying to Germany is no big deal. But where
Australia, the Philippines, one of those.
Okay.
Like something that's 12 hours offset. Germany's a 6-hour offset, right? So a 6-hour offset isn't as bad on your system, and it's easier when you're coming back west. It's harder to go east.
Okay.
So when I flew to England, it took me about a day and a half, 2 days to really get to pull my schedule back.
Okay.
Basically, where it was easier when I got home to just stay up later, right?
Okay.
So I think that's going to be the way the Falcons are going to be able to do it because it's so easy to just stay up later and be fine. I think Carolina is going to be a win.
Okay.
I do think they sweep the Panthers. I think they go 4-2 in division.
Okay.
The game that I think they're going to have trouble with is the week after the Panthers.
Me too.
Because Germany, Carolina, the Saints here would be a trap game. I think the Saints are going to be awful. I think they're going to go 2-15 this year. The problem is I think one of those two is against us.
Yeah.
because it's always against us.
Correct.
So I have this one down as a loss. Every year, I always have at Saints as a loss.
That's
I know
fair.
that sounds horrible, but I always predict that as a loss.
I agree with you. I agree with you because for whatever reason,
We just can't win there.
the reason. I mean, we hate each other, and they get up for us. They could have the worst
They
team
do.
in the league, but that week against us, they're going to get up for it, and we're going to get their best shot in the world.
And I could be wrong, and that could be the game that makes it to where, oh shit, we're 13-4 this year.
Yeah.
But like, and I would love it. Don't get me wrong, I would absolutely love it. But that's the one game that I'm just like, fuck. We're gonna end up playing like a 21-18 slugfest with this group of assholes in Stinky Town.
Yep.
And then we go to the Jets, who are objectively one of the worst teams in the league.
Yep, they suck.
I think that's a win.
Yep. Hang on one sec. Got to do some housekeeping. So Carlos says secondary is going to eat. We got Jay Black in the building. What up, Jay Black? Rise up. Let's go. Love it. Jay Black says, sup, T. Will and Scott. Then we got my friend, my guy, Jordan Burton. Jordan, how you doing, man? Jordan says, I got the Falcons in the 8 to 9, 10 range. Now, here's the thing.
Don't agree.
Scott, this is going to be who you're on the show with tomorrow. Now, Jordan is my friend, okay? But I got to prepare you, Scott. I see that you're sitting down.
I've met Jordan before. He is a Saints fan
and an Eagles fan. He's weird.
Okay.
I love him. He's my friend. Jordan really is my friend. Okay.
He's I like Jordan, but he's wrong here.
He's a Saints and an Eagles fan, and I love it when he tells the story because it's just weird. But anyway, I agree, Jordan. You're wrong, and your Saints suck. Ironically, you're going to have the best team and the worst team this year, but whatever. Right? Saints, Eagles. But yeah, I think the Falcons win at least 11 games. Jordan's like, I got 8 or 9 wins. Whatever, Jordan.
I've got 12.
You got 12?
I got 12.
Cool. All right.
So, and I've already said 3 of my losses. So, at Jets.
2 more. That means 2 more. Yeah. All right, so we got Miss Carey in here. Hey, Scott T. Will, you doing well? I'm late. I hope I didn't miss too much. What is your record prediction? Hey, Miss Carey.
At the end of the schedule.
How you doing, Miss Carey? I hope all is well. Miss Carey, best producer in the world. Jordan with the eyes. Carlos says they live to ruin our day. They do, goddammit. They do live to ruin our day. Carrie says, I hope I'm not blocked on Twitter too. Stop it, Carrie. Stop it. Stop it. 3 Dirty says, what's up, panel? What up, 3 Dirty? Carrie says, Jordan, 8 wins? No way. Jordan says, Saints gonna be the 3-4 win range, baby. Tank season.
I said 2, so I think we're on the same page there, Jordan.
Yep. Yep. Carrie says, I think the floor is 10 to 7. Jordan says 12. Absolutely 12, damn it. Absolutely.
Jordan, I'm breaking it down game by game right now. The schedule isn't that hard.
We're breaking this thing down, Jordan. We are breaking it down, sir. Jordan is funny, actually. I think Jordan. I really all right. So we thumped the Jets, we kicked their ass, and then Seattle comes to our house, and we owe them for last year.
We do.
Scott, I want some get back.
I want some get back too. I think this team wants some get back. I think this team gets some get back.
All right. So we beat them when they come into our home. Then we go into Tampa, and I already know where you're going. And God dang it, I agree. This is a loss. They figure they come up big against us at home. They bow their necks. They win. That's a loss. Go ahead.
There's a mini bye after this loss. Can get some guys healthier, can get things going right, fly out to Arizona, match up well with Arizona, and it's after the new Call of Duty releases, so Kyler Murray's too busy playing Call of Duty.
Damn.
That's a win.
Does he? Are you on Twitch? Does he play a lot of Call of Duty?
He plays a lot of Call of Duty, dude.
Okay. So wait, is this game against Tampa a Thursday night game?
Thursday night game, short week, away at Tampa. Like, we probably shouldn't have beat them in Tampa last year, for being honest.
Yeah.
But we did. So I think that one's going to end up being like a loss.
Okay. All right. Then we go into Arizona and we thump them. And then the Rams come to visit us with Jared Birch. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
This is the 5th loss on the schedule.
I got you. Okay.
This is, to me, one of the toughest games. The Rams are going to be in their groove. They're going to be heading into the final part of the season. However, I don't think it's a blowout. I just think it's a really good game that is on Monday Night Football, and everybody's like, this is what Monday Night Football is about kind of game, like a 31-28 kind of game.
Guys, are you ready for some football? All right, so 31-28. Then, of course, they come to us, New Orleans, and we beat the snot out of them.
Just pissed off, quick win kind of thing. New Orleans is at that point, 2-14, and like, please beat us. We don't care anymore. We're starting Hayner, the guy with the Zoolander face. Like, because they're just awful. Like, and I think the Falcons beat the brakes off the Saints in the Dome.
That's great. And you know what? You know what else? Because, Scott, we've been doing shows for quite a while now, and so I'm petty. If we are up by, say, 3 touchdowns, Raheem, if you're listening, yeah, right. Raheem, if you're listening, or if anybody who knows Raheem is listening, if we're up by at least 3 scores, and we got the ball, the final play, I want to go route. God damn it, Jameis. Wherever you are, this one's for you. Okay? There you go. So
I want it to be balls at the 3. Yeah, we'll pull out Robinson. Yeah, we'll pull out Algier. But we're still running out of the I-form, and we're out of the pistol, and we're still running the ball right down their throats.
I love it.
And we're still just saying, you know what? You did this to us. We're doing it right back to you.
I love it.
That's going to be the payback. And give it to Jason McClellan. Who cares?
I love it. Jordan, you know why, damn it. You know why. You know what you guys did. Kerry says, Jordan, please tell me who the 9 losses are again. Please, I can't find 9 losses on this schedule.
I can't either.
Says, what's good, man? I can't find 7 losses on this schedule. King Richie says, what's good? Kerry, I'm undefeated at Raymond James, so if I'm at the game, we're getting the dub.
Then go to the game.
Go to the game, Kerry. I might even see you there. I might, because that's drivable, and as we know, I don't fly. Jordan, quote me, meme me, screenshot me. No way NFC South team wins 12 games.
So let's say the Falcons win 11. Okay, I am okay with being 1 game off, right? When I say 12, I mean 11 to 13 range wins.
That's right, Jordan. He means 11 to 13. And so
Jordan, if they win 11, oh no, I'm still right because I missed 1 game. Whatever, who cares?
God damn it, he's still right. But here's the thing, Jordan. As we are friends and enemies when the Saints and Falcons play each other, if we do win 12 games, baby, I feel like this should be a bet, Jordan. And I feel like it should hurt. But we'll talk about that tomorrow on the same show, Scott.
He should have to wear a Falcons hat.
Yes, he should have.
For an entire month of shows.
Oh, make it hurt. Kerry, we shouldn't have beat them in Tampa last year, but Kerry was there. Oh, third person reference. And the same thing this year, before that, and the year before that. Talk your shit, Kerry. I love it. Millie Mills and Mike Evans should be hurt by.
Yeah.
Damn, that's not nice.
I mean, Mike Evans does get hurt, but
that's not nice.
Even if Evans and Godwin are out, that's why they took Ibuka.
Damn, that's not nice. That's just mean. Kerry says Rams are always good at the end of the season. Kerry says Eagles have a tough schedule. Jay Black, Eagles will start out slow, but will pick up steam later in the season. Jay Black, the Falcons will be good, and I believe our win record will be 10 and 12, 10 to 12. And finally, Jay Black, I need to join the one time for the fan travel group to go to Germany. Well, you certainly can. As a matter of fact, Jay Black, I'll let Jack know to reach out to you because you certainly can. All right, Scott, we got to move on. Millie says, I think we lose week 3 against Carolina. Just the timing of that game has me wondering. And Carrie says, I give the Bucks fans all the smoke when I'm at Raymond James, and I have a family full of Bucks fans. I love it. All right, so we are at the trivia section of the show. Everyone in the chat on this date in Falcons history, and I'm not talking about May 15th. I'm talking about December 9th, 1973, the year my lovely wife was born. Can you guys tell me what happened on this date? Scott, we don't get to answer because we know the answer because we talked about it before the beginning of the show. Can anyone in the chat tell me what happened on this date? 1973. What happened? I will give you a hint. It was against the then St. Louis Cardinals. It was against the St. Louis Cardinals. Can anybody tell me what happened? And speaking of the Cardinals, I think we dominate them that game, Scott. I really do. I think that's at least I'm going to say at least a 2-touchdown victory.
I hope it is. A lot of people are talking up Kyler Murray like he's going to have an MVP season and stuff. And I'm like, I just don't see it. I think he is what he is at this point.
Agreed 100%. All right, so the answer to the trivia question is Jim Bakken kicked 6 field goals versus the Atlanta Falcons, which is also weird because last year, first game of the year, Pittsburgh kicked 6 field goals against us. So there you go. Just a special day, Falcons trivia. Let's move on. All right, so, and we talked about this, so we don't have to spend much time on it, but I really feel like this could be an issue for us coming back with no bye week against the Panthers after we whoop up on the Colts. But you say it should be no problem.
We're going to come
in and whoop up on these dudes like they stole something.
As long as they get a small nap on the plane and as long as they stay up late the night they get back, they'll be back on their schedule within a day.
So
flying west is easier.
Let me ask you this, because I don't fly. But for those of us who do, when you're on a plane, let's say if you're flying back from Germany, are you sleeping? Are you eating snacks? Are you watching movies? What's your modus operandi?
So for me, I'm a watch movies and I've got a couple games on my phone that I can play, and I'm just doing that. If I'm the Falcons, I see if I can just patch in my film into the plane and just go with that.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That is fair. Kerry says, I honestly hope we sweep the Panthers only because these Panthers fans on Twitter are insufferable. They are acting like they're winning the Super Bowl this season because of the last game where they beat us. Shaking my head. Millie Mills says, yeah, I think so. I just think Carolina finna be pretty decent this year and probably play us hard that game. My friend Jordan says Lions split Bucks, Vikings won, New Orleans, Carolina gonna
we don't play the Lions this year. We play them in preseason, right?
Yeah.
Like
Bills, 49ers, Rams. My question games are the Dolphins, Jets, Seahawks. Y'all underestimated those teams.
So Jordan, I know you put the Vikings on here. You talk about their quarterback in his second start ever, right? Quarterback, second start ever. Not a good mix for them, right? Also coming off of an ACL injury, second start after that. Not a great fit for that either. One of New Orleans and Carolina, I agree. Split Bucks, I agree. Against the Bills, I think that's a surprise, but even if you flip it, right, and that's a loss, whatever. I think they take one of either Buffalo or San Fran. because I think we're equally matched with those teams. I think San Fran is overrated. They finished 4th in their division last year. So I think they're very overrated. The Bills, I think, are coming down out of a window. And then you question the Dolphins, who are probably going to fire their head coach after this year. The Jets, who were dog shit last year and are probably going to be dog shit again this year. I'm just being honest here. The Jets are absolute dog shit, and you think that they're going to be a tough team to play against? They're dog shit. And they've got Justin Fields running their quarterback show. Like, I'm not worried about them. And then the Seahawks. Yeah, but Sam Darnold, you say Vikings had Sam Darnold as an MVP candidate, right? Sam Darnold wasn't an MVP candidate until like week 6, week 7. He wasn't good till week 6, week 7. Oh, yeah, and the Lions are a preseason game. If we lose to the Lions, I don't care. It's the preseason. It's practice. It's not real.
It's preseason, Jordan, so whatever. Oh, I can't wait for tomorrow night.
Where the game is in the season matters with my prediction. Maybe not with yours, but with mine, it matters. It's honestly one of the most important pieces of my prediction. We got probably one of the most favorable orders of this schedule that we could have gotten. Most of the tough teams early where they haven't found themselves yet, where they haven't found each other.
Yeah.
That's when you want them.
Yeah.
Most of the pretty much going to be bad teams towards the middle, towards the heart of your schedule. I don't think Miami's that good. I don't think New England's good. I don't think Indy's good. I don't think Carolina's good.
Yeah.
I don't think New Orleans is going to be good enough to beat a college team. And the Jets are dog shit. That is probably their best set of schedule. It's the worst travel for the schedule, but it's their best like games schedule. And then it gets tough again towards the end, depending on if Arizona's good or not. Which I don't know if they're going to be. I don't think they are. But yeah, they could lose to Detroit, Tennessee, and Dallas this year, and I won't give two shits because those are preseason games.
They're preseason, Jordan.
It's practice. Why are we talking about practice?
Jordan, we talk about practice.
Talk about practice here.
Talk about practice, Jordan.
Practice.
Jordan, we talk about practice. That's what we're doing, practice. Talk about practice. Let's see, Carrie. That's still not 9 L's, Jordan. Also, line is preseason. Boy, Jordan, you walked into it. Millie Mills, Sam Darnold has experience, though. Carrie, Dolphins and Jets aren't going to be good. I'm sorry. Jay Black at Millie Mills, I hear you. I hope our run defense is up to snuff because that play action is the only way the Panthers win. You know what?
I'm not as worried about our run defense.
You're not? Okay.
Because of the way that they're doing the run defense, right? Everybody's so worried that our run defense is going to be bad. It was bad last year. The Falcons had an average run defense last year. Average run defense. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. It was literally the middle of the road in the entire NFL is where their defense stacked up last year against the run. Now, I go by yards per carry. I go by success rate. I don't go by total volume of rushing yards. If you run against a team 300 times, yeah, you're probably going to get 1,000 yards. Just how the math works. But in terms of efficiency stats, the Falcons were average. And now they've got a coordinator who actually knows how to coordinate against the run. And they're running one gap. They're not running two gap. And they don't have a black hole in Lorenzo Carter just failing over and over again on one side of the run defense, not able to set the edge. His snaps, which were also split with Damone Harris, are going to get given to James Pierce Jr., your first-round pick, who's a pretty solid run defender.
I love it. And
then Judon snaps are going to go to Jalen Walker, your first-round pick, who's pretty damn good at everything. And Judon wasn't that great in run defense either.
No,
when you have two guys that can't set the edge, it doesn't matter who's on the inside because they're just running outside.
Right.
That's where the Falcons were least successful last year against the run.
But
what do I know?
I know. You only know every defense known to man. Hey, question for you. Last segment of the show. All right. So it's 2026. I know, Scott, we're skipping ahead a year. But whatever. I was in the moment, and the moment said do it. All right. So Kyle Pitts, Tyler Algier, both in the last season of their deal, Scott. Who stays? Who goes?
Depends on how they play this year. I mean, I hate to give you the corporate answer, but if Kyle Pitts is really friggin' good this year, like he's supposed to be, Tyler's gone. And Tyler will get a contract from a team that doesn't really have a good running back, like, I don't know, Cleveland, and take it and run with it. If Tyler's pretty damn good and Kyle kind of shits the bed, well, Kyle's gone. And then Tyler will be the guy who gets maybe not paid, but he'll make like $6-7 million a year for 3 or 4 years. He'll get paid to be a solid rotational back. He'll get paid more than what Bijan will get paid, but Bijan won't care because he'll be like, shit, Tyler's my dog. Like, Tyler's my dude. So he doesn't give a shit. Bijan's a team guy. And Bijan knows he's going to get paid.
Bijan is going to get paid.
Bijan's going to get that Saquon Barkley level deal.
Yes, he is. Yes,
you know? So if Tyler gets a 3-year, $18 million deal, Bijan's going to be like, hell yeah, I'm happy for my dog. Like, that's going to be Bijan's answer. That's just how he is.
Do you think Tyler would stay, though, when he can go somewhere else and maybe not get Saquon money, but probably get more money and probably start?
He probably would get the same money regardless. That $6 million a year idea is regardless of where he goes. But if you go look around the league and you look at all the different running backs, there's not really a team that you look at and you go, need to spend money on a running back, right? You're looking at the Titans with Tony Pollard. I mean, maybe the Chiefs break the bank for him. Maybe. That's like the one team that doesn't really have a great running back year in, year out. But that's like the one team. Maybe the Giants give him some money. Maybe the Commanders give him some money. But Brian Robinson's fantastic, right? Tyrone Tracy's kind of coming into his own. Like, the Packers have a pretty solid group. The Vikings have a pretty solid group. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm looking at depth charts for running backs. I'm like, this is why running backs don't go first round. Because every team has good running backs.
Right.
Good running backs are a dime a dozen. Not every team has good offensive line. So, as far as Algier is concerned, as long as he gets paid enough, and I say enough, I'm not saying like break the bank for him, he'll stay.
Okay.
Don't like insult him with a 1-year, $2 million deal, but I'm sure he'd resign for like maybe even 3 years, 12, which is a decent signing for a running back, right?
Definitely, 100%.
Like,
100. Yeah. No, I'm good with it, man. I agree with it. And look, at either way, the Falcons are good. What if they both ball out though?
I mean, Tyler Algier balling out is 600 yards rushing, 150 yards receiving. You can replace that.
Okay.
That's easy. That's more easily replaceable as your backup power running back than Kyle Pitts balling out and going, 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns and on 75 catches, right? That's Kyle Pitts, leaning into the fact that he could be as good as Tony Gonzalez was versus Tyler Algier just being Michael Turner under the Chargers.
Gotcha.
When he'd rather just go somewhere else and be Michael Turner under the Jets or Michael Turner under, the Chiefs, You put Tyler Algier on the Chiefs and they have a running game that's nasty. And I think Tyler Algier would see that too and be like, all right, well, I'm going to go run for 1,400 yards on 350 carries and catch the ball for 250 yards. And that would be Tyler Algier, and he'd be perfectly happy with that.
Okay.
and he'd be closer to home because he's from Utah. So, like, all right, that might make a little more sense. But if he does that, I'm not faulting him, and I'm not even mad because you know what? If you go and play with the Chiefs instead of the Falcons, with how good the Chiefs have been lately, and with Andy Reid as their head coach, I will never fault anybody for doing that. And I wouldn't fault the Chiefs for being like, I want that guy. He's my kind of nasty running back to run the game around.
Yeah. Yeah.
He does fit that nasty, like Amon Green style back that Andy Reid has used in the past.
Yeah.
You know? So
okay. That's hey man, love it. All for it. Well, Scott, tell these folks where they can find you.
you can find me on Twitter at Karasik S, CARASIKS. Or you can find me. I've got a Substack called Scar Draft. I still need to write stuff there, but it's one of those things that I'm not getting paid. It's my hobby, so I do it when I do it. Like my wife's out all next week, so like she's gonna be visiting a friend of ours. So I'll probably write up the draft class scouting reports that week.
That's great. So we can go over it then. But Scott, don't you dare feel bad, okay? Don't you dare, because let me tell you something. John from Out of Your Falcon Mind and I have a Twitter page that we created just for the show. Scott, we've never even broadcasted to the channel, and we created it for the show. That's how busy we are. So you know what? Stuff happens. It's cool, man. It's all good. As much as big of a talent and as much of an addition to any show that you are, I think we can forgive that, Scott. Really, it's okay. I think that's okay. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
It'll be fine. It's all good. But hey, man, great show. I appreciate you joining me as always. We'll get together next week and do this. But looks like you're going to be on our show tomorrow night around 7, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
And I'll read Jordan the Riot Act because him not being able to count is probably the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Oh man, hey.
Him thinking the Jets are going to be good is even funnier. Like,
man. Go easy on him. He is my friend, but don't go too easy because he is a Saints fan. But anyway, guys in the chat, thank you so much for joining us. Those of you out there across every social platform, medium, we appreciate that. We appreciate you. This was fun as always. We love doing this with you because we couldn't do it without you, and we are so thankful. I want to thank God, number one, for waking me up and giving me the opportunity to do this show and to do it with my friend Scott Karasik. Miss Carrie, thank you. Jay Black, thank you. Millie Mills, thank you. Carlo, thank you. Miss Carrie, thank you. Am I missing somebody? I got a feeling I'm missing somebody. Jordan, thank you. Jordan is my friend. There's my friend too. Carlo, thank you. DSGB, thank you. I think that was everybody. If I missed you guys, I'm so sorry. Charge it to my head and not my heart. I want to thank Jack Spade and Eric Parker for giving me my start in this business. And you guys have an amazing evening. We will see you tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Thanks, everybody. Go Falcons. Good night.